All right, my friends, welcome back to the RPG Backlog, where we dig into our backlogs and play just the RPGs that we find, obviously. We're here for the final episode of our arc about a little game called Bastion, and I'm here with Travis, who has completed the game just like I have. We stuck to the schedule this time, didn't we?
Amazingly, yes. No hiccups this time.
That's right. No hiccups, no getting ahead, no falling behind. For this one, we went through Point Lemaine, Colford Cauldron, Mount Zand, Burstone Quarry, Urzenda Gate, Zoltan's Hollow, and the Tazel Terminals. Is that right? Or did I get one of those wrong? Point Lemaine? Is that last
I think they pronounce it Burston, but...
Burston. Yeah, you're probably right. So we rolled through the end of the game, and this like whiplash, this podcast. I've never had such a 180 on a video game, I think, in my life. What about you?
I mean, this one kind of had the vibes of Final Fantasy 12 a little bit, where it's like, the story's good, but everything else kind of and then it just, I don't know if I'd call it whiplash, but it did enough to where it's like, holy shit, this story just took off and took this game from being, this is solid, to okay, this is a game that needs to be played, for me at least.
Yeah, I'm really glad we played this game. I'm glad we took a little break from Final Fantasy and tried something different in our backlogs. That's kind of the point of this whole thing, but good Lord, it started off okay. Like, if I was playing this in 2011, I'd be like, oh, it's pretty good. But I've played a bunch of games like this since then, and it was okay in terms of gameplay, right? Just isometric hack and slash, get some weapons, upgrade them, blah, blah, blah. But then the story starts going places when you get past the first, third of the game. And it doesn't stop.
Yeah, and I think we went over this at one time where I did the first dream sequence for the kid. And that's where I stopped originally. And when I did the first dream sequence for the kid again, I was like, now I see why I quit here. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because I was right there on the cusp of that story, just going from solid to amazing. And I'm like, holy crap, it took me 14 years later to find out that I was missing out on this.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar experience having picked this up on the Vita. God, it was, I don't know, several years before the pandemic hit. So it must have been 8 years ago or something like that. And yeah, kind of like, it's okay. I like the narrator, but I just bounced off of it hard. And God, if I had stayed, I would have been hooked into this developer, which I've played most of their stuff anyways, but good Lord.
I feel like if you listen to the first first three podcasts, or actually I would say two on this one, because the first one we weren't really talking about the game that much. We keep saying like, oh, this is Hades, like the beta for Hades.
Yeah.
No, man, this story took this game in a place that I'm like, sorry, no, I see the skeleton of Hades in here, but this game completely became its own beast very quickly with this story once it ramped. So
yeah, I totally agree. We were obviously comparing this a lot to Hades, partially because that's the game we played the most from this developer. But it has absolutely its own identity by the end. The story, the way that tells the story, the way that it diverges at the end, the way that you can diverge at the end, the way that it doesn't, like it builds on what it was in the early levels. Like you're still going through those kind of like levels in the world where things are building, but they are very different and you're picking up different weapons to interact. Like in this section, you're picking up like the fire bellows to burn stuff down. You're picking up, God, what was that?
The Calamity Cannon.
Yes, that's it. The cannon.
The rifle too.
Yep, that rifle that shot long distance if you held, and then it would like narrow its aim down to like a very a thin focus. And then at the end, the battering ram, like it continued to do different things, and you just didn't rest on what it was before. It felt like in those first few levels, it just built on and expanded and did something different seemingly every level, including when you get towards the end. I think it was the Hollow, or maybe it was the Terminals. It was one of those ones at the end where it's like, a sequence of 5 days or 7 days or 6. Oh yeah, there we go. It was the Urzenda Gate, the third from the last section, where you're kind of going after the Ura or going towards the Ura. and it's the structure breaks down and it's just days. Day 1 morning, day 2 afternoon, day 3 morning, and like different things are happening. It's telling you like little pieces of him just like decimating the Ura. That's when you're attacking the Ura warriors. And the structure there was different than what we had seen before. And it was just like instantly like a newly engaging. And I just thought it was cool how it built to like a crescendo as it moved towards the end. And I don't know about how you felt, but I kept thinking about, I don't know if you played the Uncharted games.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Nathan Drake is like a nice guy, but he's a fucking sociopathic murderer. He just kills in just millions of people, right, as he's going through these games. And that's how I felt about the kid here, where like you're moving through the Ura lands and you're fucking, it's like a genocide almost. How many people you're killing as you go.
Yeah. I can see that. But at the same time, it's almost like it's weird because now that you mentioned that, I'm sitting there like, holy shit, yeah, we were just wiping them out. But at the same time, at the moment, I was sitting there thinking, okay, dude, like they kidnapped Zia, and I wasn't going after them. They came and attacked us first. So it's almost like it's this weird like mental gymnastics of like, no, I'm not the bad guy. I'm the good guy here. But it's like maybe I'm not the good guy.
I thought I wasn't the good guy. I felt like I was the bad guy, just murdering this people that the Ceylondians basically tried to obliterate in the war that caused the calamity. And then to find out that Zia wasn't even kidnapped. She went willingly to who I really am. And I was like, oh, fuck, what am I doing? I'm not who I think I am in this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you keep going.
No, because I'm going to take it to like the choices at the end. So if you have something to say,
So for me, right, like the whole, the story went from like solid to just off the rails, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because as you're going through this, you're learning. Okay, so you find out that like, so you're there, you're doing your thing, and then you run into the Ura, and then you run into Zolf, and Zolf is like, dude, don't go back. They're going to destroy the Bastion. You're like, what the fuck? And so then you go back, right? And they're obviously destroying this place, and like Zia's gone, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And at this point, this is when you get the really, for lack of better terminology, the really effed up way the story developed, or how this world developed, in the fact that the Ceylondians developed a weapon using a Ura scientist to assist them to essentially close all the mines in the world to seal the Ura in them. Yep. And that the Ura, I think his name was Ven, was like, F you. Basically booby trapped the weapon. Yep. Thinking he's going to get away from this shit, and then the Ceylonians are like, no, dude, turn that shit on, let's go. So like literally, it's just this weird. It's in a weird way. It's kind of I don't want to be political, but it kind of is at the same time. It's like it's two warring factions, one trying to screw the other one, but no one winning in this situation. Like there really is no winner in a war, and it's literally what this is happening. We're seeing this play out, and the two factions, because they couldn't just accept each other, literally destroyed the world. So it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So then when you start going through it to find out that the Bastion was. Well, now we actually have the narrator's name. His name is Ruckus. Yep. Like finding out that the Bastion's like his device to be like, no, we're going to reset the world back to what it was pre-Calamity. We're going to undo it all. But everything that's happened since the Calamity gets undone. So like, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. It's basically a time warp and reset.
But that's only one of the two options that you can do.
Well, at the time, that's not what is put towards you initially, right? Right. So I'm going into this thinking like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm like, what I'm going through in my head at this point, I was like, well, that's a cool idea. But at the same time, I'm going, sweet. So you get to watch them do this shit all over again, is what I was thinking in my head, because that's not going to change just because you reset the world back to it, because everyone's forgotten what the fuck you've done. Like, that just means we're going to walk right down the same path again. Because there's the old saying, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, they're not going to learn from it because the history's gone. So anyways, that was just a weird thing, but I'll stop there and let you kind of go into the next bit on.
Yeah, that kind of sets
the choices.
Yeah, because that kind of sets up what came next, which surprised me because I thought this was leading towards exactly what you're saying. This is the thing, so this is the next step for the Bastion. We use the Bastion to go back and make sure the calamity doesn't happen, or you could or you can escape, use it as a way to leave with the survivors, basically. And that's the first choice was who the survivor was going to be. In the last when you find Zulf, after you like mow down a bunch of Ura to get to him, which was a pretty difficult fight, I thought. The warriors, the Ura warriors, kind of almost teleporting in and out, away. I was still using the musket. That was my main weapon. So when they would teleport away from me, they were taking less damage, and it was hard for me to get some of those at the end there. But I eventually did. And then you get to choose: do you take Zulf with you, or do you leave Zulf behind? Like take him back to the Bastion, despite what he had done to you and such. Which did you choose?
I took him with me.
Me too. I did too. So when you take Zulf with you, you're just surrounded by Ura warriors, and they are just pelting you with gunshot, basically, like just knocking you down, and your HUD kind of goes away, but it still tells you to heal when you get to low health. So I was like, I'm never going to make it to the end of this. But then as you keep going, and there are more Ura warriors, the ones who are shooting at you kind of get stopped by the other Ura, and eventually they all stop shooting at you at all, and you get to the Skyway teleport thing, and then you go back with Zulf.
So that's interesting, right? So I never got the notification to heal at all while walking through it.
Oh, really? I got it twice.
And then I noticed, and I don't know if this happened in yours, because you get to the end and you do this little U-turn, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
And at the top of that peak of that U-turn on the outside, one dude takes a shot at you, and the other dude turns around and hits him.
Yes, that happened to mine too.
Okay, yep. And then like literally knocks the dude out, because I was like, it was about that time where I realized, I was like, wait, they kind of stopped shooting at me. And then that one dude shot me, and then I just watched the other dude just pummel him in the back of the head and drop him. I was like, okay, sweet. And I was like, maybe there's a little bit of remorse in them for what they did to their own. I don't know, but it was just an interesting thing.
I took it as like almost like respect for you, like trying to save this Ura, one of them. Like it was really touching for me. And I wonder what the other option is, because I was thinking, I bet Travis chose the same option. I bet he picked his Zulf up too.
I'm pretty sure we picked both the same options.
Oh, because you chose. Okay, so the second choice then, like we said earlier, is restore, which is kind of what Rux was pushing you towards, or evacuate, which I'm reading right now says that's what Zia recommends. I don't remember Zia recommending that, but maybe I missed that.
Yeah, so when you get to the end where you're right there at it, there's Rux on the left and Zia on the right. And you have when you go to talk to them, they go over everything. Like you have... And it's kind of interesting. I think it's all the artifacts that you have found. Each one of them pops back up, and you can talk about different things. And that's where, again, Zia openly admits that she's like, I went to the Ura because I had to know whether or not what Zulf said was true. I had to see it with my own eyes. And then, like, her whole story was like, it's like she wouldn't change anything, that she was the happiest once she met us and then moved in on the Bastion, and was not happy beforehand, would never go back, doesn't want things to go back the way they were. And then when you went to the other side and talked to Rux, he was obviously the exact opposite, talking about how, hey, I've done it, we've done it, we can undo all this, we can set the world back, we can put everything back the way it was, just like we've been trying to do since the beginning. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, since you've been trying to do since the beginning, because I didn't know this shit until recently.
Yeah, right.
So so if you talk to both of them, you got both sides of the story, and that's when the option kind of give more details to the options.
Okay, I must have missed catching that from Zia, but I don't know. I guess the whole time I was thinking this is like the conceit for what New Game Plus looks like. Like you're supposed to go back because then you do it again and see if the calamity didn't happen. So I'm not sure. And I guess if you choose to evacuate, you have you and Rux and Zia and Zolf kind of floating away in some sort of picture, like you have with the one where it's Rux and the kid, and maybe there's a third one in that picture. I'll have to look at our Discord.
So which one did you picked?
Oh, there's three of them. Yeah, it's Zia too. I picked Restore. I went back.
Okay, so we did pick different ones then.
Oh, you chose Evacuate.
Yeah, I chose Evacuate.
Oh, I didn't. I chose to Restore because I thought it made sense for, I know there was a New Game Plus, so I was like, oh, that just makes sense. I don't know, narratively.
Yeah, so I chose to Evacuate. And my picture had Rux, Zia, the kid, and Zolf all on the platform of the Bastion, and talking about how it was Rux talking about how he's like, I didn't expect this from me. At first, it started off kind of just like he was disappointed in us. Mm-hmm. But then quickly his tone changed. And it was almost like as he was talking about it, he realized how it was almost like a relief that it didn't get reset and how he got to keep living this with this group.
That's cool. That's a cool ending because I took a screenshot and posted it in our Discord of mine, which I now realize you didn't see, which is the kid and Rux and Zia kind of looking at what I take to be like the Bastion kind of like slipping back through time, like rewinding back to what it was. But yeah, he said some things about going back and trying again and seeing if the calamity doesn't happen. And it very much was like, yeah, this is the choice that I wanted. But that was about it. And then the music came on and just was fucking, the music in this game is fucking murder. It's so good.
I saw the picture, like I'm looking at it right now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't ping in my head, because in mine, you see them standing on it looks like this piece hanging down below the Bastion, like a platform, and you just see like all these floating little mini world, like chunks of land that look like little mini worlds off in the distance.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how now we can go wherever we want and go explore the world and see everything that we want to see. So
that's cool. It's like staying together, being a crew.
Yeah. And I don't know if my influence was the first person I talked to when I got there was Zia, and her being like, I regret nothing. I regret nothing that happened between us. I was happiest with us. I was like, okay. And then when I got to Rux, it was just kind of like, again, as I said before, I was like, okay, well, we're just going to repeat this shit if we go back. And I'm like, that's not the point of this. Let's fucking change the world. Let's make it a better. Let's try and move forward. So that's why I went with the Evacuate.
That's cool. I went and saw the picture, but I didn't go back and watch the video to see the whole ending. I did go back and watch the credits again on YouTube just to experience the music again. And I watched the whole credits, listen to the music.
I mean, the same. As I put in the chat that day after, I go, I never watch, listen the credits. Never. There's only one time I've ever done it, and that was for Nier Automata, because it's a mini game that sets up the restart for the next playthrough. So that's the only reason why I've ever done that one. But otherwise, I've never done it. This is the first game where I sit there where you don't have anything to interact. And I wanted to sit there and just listen to that music because it is so freaking good yet again.
I was going to go into Apple Music and see if you can download the soundtrack. I assume you can, but I didn't do it yet. But now I'm remembering to do that so I can listen as I'm commuting, because I want to listen to that again.
I think it's actually
one of
the DLCs too.
Oh, there was a new song. I forget what it's called. That was added to a later version of the game. Because I don't think there's any DLC for this game, as far as I know.
No. I mean, like it's like an add-on, not an actual DLC, but like it's a DLC thing in that you can download as an additional thing on Steam for it.
Oh, to get the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played on Switch.
Oh, okay.
It has. I don't know. I should ask you since you're on Steam Deck. I assume Steam Deck you're playing on. The load times? Or were you on your PC?
I played it on the PC.
Okay. Load times between levels?
Non-existent.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It took 50 to 60 seconds to load between levels. And I was like, Jesus Christ. This is a 2011 game on the Switch. Come on.
Yeah, no. Because on this, it says it's playable on the Steam Deck, not compatible. And from my experience, those playable ones, as an experience, great. Not really. And so it was one of those ones where I was like, you know what? I got the PC right here. Let's just freaking knock it out. I will admit that all the Final Fantasy ones I've been playing on the Steam Deck as opposed to the PC. For some reason, they just play better on that than they do on my PC, which is really weird.
Well, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the fact that I have the ultra wide screen that kind of fucks with some games, unless you put them into window mode. And I don't know. I just don't usually do that with the Final Fantasy. And for some reason with Bastion, I did that and had no issues. It's really, I just have these weird little times where I'm like, I want to do this and I'm fine with it. And I'm like, I do go to another game and sit to go, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. So, yeah.
Well, I thought it ran well on the Switch, except for those loading things. So, it didn't matter that much, I guess. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm glad we played this game. Start was a little slow, but goddamn, it ramped up really quickly, and I'm so excited we got through it. And I can add this to the list of games that I played in my life because that was a treat.
Yeah, and I want to apologize to Supergiant Games for saying this was the Hades beta because this is so much more. Like I said, I can see the skeleton work of it in Hades, but at the same time, they did such a great job of taking what they had learned from this game, taking the good bits out of it, and then just turning that into something completely different for Hades, as opposed to being like, let's just iterate on it. Like we were acting like the first couple times we were playing this game. So
Supergiant Games, we had no idea what the fuck we were talking about. We apologize. We are so happy to have played this game.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so great. I love this podcast because we just dig into stuff that we hadn't played, or see if we're hopefully find little treasures in our backlogs. And this is absolutely, maybe number one of all the ones that I've done on this podcast so far. I think. Oh fuck! Not Everclear. Why is Everclear in my head? That is not what I'm trying to say.
I don't know.
Undertale.
I was like, Everclear, the alcohol, the band, like what's going on here?
The alcohol was in my head, and I don't know why. But Undertale was also a treat. But goddamn, this was so amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about this game that set it apart. The story is the main one. You touched on it with the weapons. Like they keep giving you new weapons all the way up to the damn near the very end of the game. And usually whenever you do stuff like that, you start to get annoyed that you don't get to spend that much time with a weapon, but none of them ever felt overpowered. It's almost like they were like, you're going to have a challenge here. Let me give you a new tool that's going to help you with this one. If you want to keep it in the next one, sure, go for it. Is it required? No, not at all. So it was really kind of cool how they did that without making you feel like you were missing out by not having much time with some of these weapons.
Well, it was cool that they would give you it and you play with it for a little bit in that level, and then there'd be like an arsenal in the level where you could switch back if you wanted to, which I typically did, except for when I had I think I kept the fire bellows and I kept the cannon, and then obviously later, I got rid of that the gun that narrowed your aim or whatever. It was so slow. But then obviously the battering ram you kept at the end, and you were just like crushing the skulls of these Ura as you're going through, and it just felt like genocide, like I said. But yeah, it was so cool I switched up.
That might be why I had an easier time with the last bit, because I was at the very end, I was rocking the Calamity Cannon and the musket. Because the cannon could one-shot them from range, and the musket could one-shot them when they got close.
God, that would have been great. I kept forgetting that I could switch out my kind of melee weapon for like 2 ranged weapons. So I never did that.
Yeah, I never treated the musket like a ranged weapon, because once you got a little ways off the screen, not even off the screen, like you got, what, like 5-6 feet away from your character, like roughly like 2 or 3 squares, the power of that musket just severely dropped.
That's why that final thing with the Uro that were teleporting was hard, because I was using the musket and I was using the warblade or whatever it was called. So I needed them up close.
That's where the Calamity Cannon fucking came in perfect. They teleported away. I'm like, all right, fine, switch, shoot, bam, dead.
That would have been a good idea.
So yeah, I'm super happy we came back to this one. I'm kind of excited that part of me will kind of, this is again, like, I can't remember which game it was where we played. I was like, I know what it was. It was 12 where I was like, fuck this. I uninstalled it. Then like a day later, I was like, I don't want to touch it again. This is one of those ones I haven't uninstalled yet. And I'm like, I kind of want to see what New Game Plus looks like, since you get to keep everything.
Yeah, dude. After I beat this game, I beat it in the morning. No, that's not true. I was at a conference all weekend. I beat it in the afternoon when I got home. And then last night I did the podcast, the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast, and I went in the house. I was like, what do I want to play? I'm like, I should open up Transistor and start the New Game Plus. And I started playing New Game Plus, and I was like, I don't remember any of this. Like, is this a totally different game? What the fuck is happening? And I looked at my trophy list, and I beat Transistor on September 1st and September 2nd, 2014. Beat it in those 2 days. So that was a very long time ago, and I don't remember shit. So if we decide to go play it, despite me having played the game, I don't think I remember much about it.
I'm seriously considering going back and I own it. I'm seriously considering going back and actually playing that one, just because so far they're 2 for 2 with me, and this one kind of caught me by surprise, to be plainly honest. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I should go back. And it says I've got an hour or so playtime on here. So I'm like, what did I do
on Transistor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I don't remember diddly squat about this game, man.
Dude, I mean, Bastion's great. Transistor is like on another level. And obviously Hades is on another level beyond that. I would really recommend you checking out Transistor, because it has some of the turn-based combat that's not happening in Bastion. So that's interesting. I know you like turn-based combat, and it does it in a very interesting way. But then you can also not do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go back and play this one. I got to get off my Monster Hunter Wilds kick, though, I think, before.
No, yeah, take a little break and then.
I need an incentive to do this. Like, I think if it hadn't been for this, I would not have touched. Well, no, let me be real. If it had not been for this, I would not have touched Bastion, even though I own it on the PC on Steam. I can almost guarantee you, I would not have touched it. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this then. That's awesome. Okay. Well, anything else for the podcast?
No, just if you haven't played this game, have any love for any of Supergiant games, or you just have love of games with a great story, give this one a shot. It's going to be a little slow at first. First couple hours a little challenging, not going to lie, but it's worth the payoff. Yeah,
and overall, it's not a super long experience. So it's 5-6 hours all told, something like that.
I was gonna say, how many of the proving grounds did you do?
I just did 2. The weapons that I used the warblade and the musket, and that's what I stuck with.
So I did like 4 or 5 of the proving grounds, and I did a couple of the dreams, because I used the dreams actually to farm.
Oh,
surprise!
Okay. Yeah,
the little currencies where I could upgrade my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm still under 6 hours of playtime total.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot for
yeah, so
not much game time.
Yeah, so 2 hours is going to get you about a little over a third of the way through the game, but it's about that point that it picks up pretty quick.
Yeah. I could also entice you with another game. You know the Steam sale is going on right now, right?
I'm aware of it. I've been trying to avoid it. What's up? What's this other game?
Well, Chrono Trigger is on there for $3.74, which is ridiculous. That's a much longer game. That's about a 25-hour game.
Why does this game look familiar to me?
Because we talk about it with you all the time.
You do?
Yes. God, Anthony and I have talked to you about this game several times when we've been on podcasts together because it stands out as a game you haven't played, that it's one of the best JRPGs ever made. And we both love it.
Huh.
So I'm probably going to pick it up here again just because I only have it on DS.
I mean, $3.74 is not a bad way to spend less than $4.
Yeah, one of the best JRPGs ever made. So yeah. Anyway, we don't know what we're playing next, is what I'm trying to say. But thanks so much for being here for the RPG backlog. Please tell a friend, and we will be back for another arc of something in the near future.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out yet, huh?
No, but we will. This is how time works. The next time some people will be listening to this podcast and realize, oh, there's already stuff in the feed they've decided their next game. But for right now, in the past, we have no idea.
It's going to be a surprise to everyone.
Oh, perfect. All right. See y'all.
Peace.